Hello, this is Mallory Vandervoort's video on my literacy philosophy. Specifically, how literacy shapes communication and creativity by Mallory Vandervoort. Let's talk about what literacy means to me. Literacy is a means of expressing who I am through many different means, but it also is allowed to communicate my thoughts early, and also expands my creativity and in the ways I imagine and view the world. Literacy is a personal, emotional, and empowering thing to know because it allows you to communicate, allows you to explore, it allows you to understand things on more than just a surface level, I believe. Reading between the lines, seeing the context and the reasons behind things. Why literacy is important? It strengthens how we understand and connect with others, and it allows for us to share ideas in more forms than just writing and speaking. Almost any form of communication needs literacy in some way, and that gives a lot of learners ways to express their identity and their voice and the tools. But it also allows for people who can't engage on one medium, like if they're deaf or blind, they can still communicate because of that because there's different ways to communication thanks to literacy. And it also creatively grows students when they create multiple literacy forms. Creatively grows when students explore multiple literacy forms, and also like you just become more creative the more you experience, and like that's how parody and remixing is made and stuff like that. Its influences on my beliefs. My own experience with reading and writing, the biggest influence, obviously, is my own experiences with reading and writing creative media. It's biased. As someone who does read quite a bit and has tried their hand at writing, it has greatly impacted me personally. Like knowing how to read, knowing how to write, but also just like knowing how to properly engage with the media in different ways, and seeing students engage differently with stories and languages. Besides that, seeing how it has tangible effects, like how reading typically, as the show shows, it affects students' growth, like reading growth, but also creative growth and academic growth. Communication and creativity. Literacy supports students in expressing their ideas and hopes and feelings and ideas, which is important for all forms of communication, as humans are very social creatures by nature. So, like, being able to have someone to talk to and, like, being able to express yourself through medium. It's like, well, that's why you see some incredible, like, works of art by, like, indie artists, indie rappers, all that, is because it's their way of expressing themselves in a way only they can understand. And it's often very creative and open to interpretation, and like it takes literacy to make, and it takes literacy to properly read and appreciate. And communication becomes stronger the multiple things you can use it through. If you can communicate through talking, texting, art, memes, whatever, it bolsters all the other ones. It never comes at a detriment to one of them usually. And literacy also enables more adaptability, as I said before, with like allowing people with disabilities to properly communicate still. How will I foster literacy in the classroom? The first thing is encouraging students to explore different forms of expression. There's more than just reading a a bland and boring textbook. There's finding your own ways to write, your own ways to explore, color theory with all that, and just allowing students to truly embrace who they are through literacy, through social, through all of that. Second is using visuals, musics, and movement as literacy tools. Actions, music, there's certain media can invoke those emotions, and by learning how those invoke those emotions, you can then use them to invoke the emotions in others, and like it allows for them to. It allows them to properly communicate themselves in ways that they might not be able to otherwise. And it creates a safe environment overall where if everyone can understand each other, then then it's much less likely that people are going to feel like their voice isn't heard and that they can't talk about things. And that not being able to talk about something is one of the most dangerous things, especially when it comes to bullying. And it's a supportive method. It's authentic. It's creative. It's just nice overall for these students to be able to have some way to vent all that and like just be able to communicate properly and safely, even if they can't use words. Finally, my core beliefs about literacy. Like I said before, literacy empowers our learners to communicate with confidence, but just empowers them in general. And creativity and literacy are deeply connected. I believe that you can be creative without being literate, and you can be literate without being creative. But as one grows, so does the other. Typically, I find every student deserves the opportunity to express themselves. It's simple. That every student deserves that opportunity. It should be a human right. And literacy is an evolving part of your identity. The more you learn, the more you forget even, can change who you are and like what you know and everyone has that one piece of media that has impacted them deeply on a personal level, and that's because of literacy. Finally, here are my sources, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.